Oh, yes. It's Brady.
Caw.
And Levi.
Levi.
Do the bird noise.
Caw.
Caw.
Nerdish.
It's nerdish with a 3, not nerdish with an E. Why?
8 to 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, because nerdish with an E was taken.
And that's why we do it 8 to 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Thank you for giving that reason for a question that I didn't ask.
That's sort of like the way we eliminate answers on the reading section.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess the other sections to a certain extent.
I think it's important when doing a rap to listen to the beat that's happening in your ear. Otherwise, you have a problem staying on beat.
Correct. We do the ACT and SAT, they're standardized tests to help you get into college.
We don't tutor rap. We shouldn't ever do that.
No, we're not pretending to be tutors of rap, even though we're really good. Sometimes you can be really good at something, but not be a good teacher. Case in point.
Point in case.
Point in case, word.
Point in case something bad happens.
Like this?
Yes.
I think we're enriching your lives by you watching this.
I'm getting a phone call from a friend. Do you think I should pick it up now?
The phone call just was dropped. Maybe he'll leave you a voicemail.
Next time, I'll pick it up during the stream. That way we can all talk to my friend Steve.
If you think this is not very high quality, don't worry. We're gonna do it again in 2 weeks.
Also, we're much better quality when we're teaching you all the things in a number tree.
Like prime factorization?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
You break a number down into its prime parts until you can't break it down
We
anymore.
can probably do that right now.
Yeah, we're gonna
okay, so let's say 32.
I was gonna say 30. That's so close.
Oh my gosh.
All right, break it up.
Okay,
Any way you want. 2 and 16.
Okay, 2 and 16.
2 and 16. 16 is 4 and 4.
Okay, 4 and 4. Oh,
And
interesting.
each
So
4
16
is
a perfect
2,
square.
2. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2.
So it's 2 to the 5th.
Yeah, it's 2 to the 5th.
2 to the 5th, exactly.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
You see that? It's that quick. Now you know. Think about that for our whole show.
Now stop watching the stream because you've learned everything necessary.
Bum, 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 bum. We're in a box. You can help us by asking us questions in the hope that someday we can escape. Hey! Look who's here.
Levi.
Have you been here the whole time? Oh, the Roman handshake.
The Stirk arm handshake. Do you know why they did this?
Why?
For bloodletting purposes mainly.
Back in ancient Rome?
Yeah.
What about
Which is in Greece.
Ancient Rome is in Greece.
Yes.
I would say that ancient Rome is an extension of ancient Greece, but I don't think that ancient Rome was in Greece.
What?
So why do they do this?
Bloodletting.
What? How does that connect to bloodletting?
What?
Hi, I'm Brady. Who are you? Tell them who you are. He's Levi. Today we're going to be talking about interpreting equations. Storm's here.
Storm.
Whoa, Mr. Cumulonimbus clouds.
We were talking about you today.
Yes, we were.
The different types of you.
Yes, clouds specifically. We're also talking about recognition, which is one of the keys to success, as Levi says.
I always say that. Keys to success.
Keys to success in the English and grammar section. So we're going to start with math, as we usually do. Interpreting equations.
Yes.
Right.
How about I give you some equation, or an equation, and I ask you questions about it?
I would love that.
Okay. So, equation, y equals 3x plus 4.
Hold on. You got a new message. Math was rough today. Oh, Storm.
Oh, Storm took the ACT.
Storm took the ACT today.
Yeah. Was it rough?
What did you have trouble on? You remember? Remember what problems you had trouble on?
Rough winds in your cloudy skies.
Oh. Okay, what was the equation?
Y equals 3x plus 4. And I would like to know
Yep.
if we increase x by 1,
All
what
right.
happens to y?
Reading was good. Nice. Very nice.
All right. What happens? Levi, I'm really glad that you asked this question.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, nobody's asked you that since you were a young boy.
No one's asked me that since the accident.
Before the war.
Before the war? Man, what a war. We lost a lot of great boys out there. They were just kids. People don't get it. They don't get it, Levi.
Very good.
I like walking talking about the war. I think that's a good combination. Anyway, all right. So x is going up by 1. What's going to happen to y? I'm going to bet that y is going to go up as well. Because y and x are related here, and there's a positive slope, which means as x gets bigger, y also gets bigger, okay? I know that I can draw a graph, and that might help me figure this out. So our y-intercept is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our y-intercept. And our slope is 3, which means we go up 3 over 1. So up 3 over 1, and then down 3 over 1. So our line is going to look something like this.
Hey, Storm, if you remember any problems off the top of your head that gave you some trouble and want to talk about those concepts, we can definitely do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If anyone's told you that we won't do that, that person is lying through their gills.
Also, if you don't want to do it, we could still do it.
Yeah.
We
That's
won't,
true.
because
That's true.
we don't feel like it. But
Is it a point?
if you want to.
Okay, so one thing we could do here is we could put in some values and see what happens to y. So as x increases by 1, what's going to happen to y? I could pick any two x values here as long as they're 1 unit apart to figure this out because the slope is constant. You're always going to be going up and over the same amount. So let's say I wanted to pick a couple values here. Let's say x is 4 and then x is 5. So we just increased x by 1. Let's figure out what y would equal. So y is 3x plus 4. So that'd be 3 times 4, which would be 12, plus 4, which is 16. All right? And then x is increased by 1. So that's going to now be 5. If I put 5 into this equation, 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. So what happens to y? It looks like it got bigger by 3. So that's what happened to y, okay? So I actually used some examples here to figure this out. Now 3 is interesting because 3 is also in the equation up here. 3 is the slope. So let's talk about that for a sec. Slope is very important to really any aspect of your life. Relationships, family, work, health. Slope is pretty much a part of all of them.
Yes, and in the Jewish community, Shlope
Slope.
is very much the center of the family.
Yes.
Shlope is the matriarch, the patriarch,
The sunny-arch.
the sunny-arch,
And the daughter-arch.
Yes.
Yes. And the Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Yes.
Important for the war effort.
Man, that Ark. You need it for the war.
Does this help?
I don't know. Slope. Here we go. Change in y over change in x, also known as the rise over the run. Okay? The rise over the run. And in this case, our slope is 3. So that's a whole number, but I want to think of it as a fraction. So if I just put 3 over 1, we're good. So let's interpret this for a sec. This means I go up 3 for every 1 I go over. And that's what Levi asked me to do. He said increase x by 1. That literally means go over 1 in the x direction. And so according to this ratio here, for every 1 we go over, we go 3 up. So, Levi, are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied with that. Would you like another question?
Well, I haven't done the second one yet.
Oh.
What is the x-intercept? Well, I can look at this graph, but I didn't really draw this that well, so I can't really trust it. Let's think about this. The x-intercept is when you cross the x-axis. And when you cross the x-axis, the thing that you know about the point is that the y is 0, okay? Anywhere along the x-axis, your y is 0 because y is your height above or below the x-axis. So if you're on the x-axis, your y is 0. So to find what the x value will be, we just plug 0 in for y, and then we solve this. It's that easy. So 0 is going to be y. 0 is equal to 3x plus 4. We subtract 4 on both sides. We divide by 3. Negative 4 thirds. Negative 4 thirds. I'll let you guys see that. This marker is not great anymore. But that'll be the x-intercept. You can find the y-intercept very easily as well by putting in 0 in for, you guessed it, x. You're on the y-axis when your x is equal to 0. If you cover up x because it's 0, you have y equals 4. Covering it up really from your perspective doesn't really do anything. But that's why this is the y-intercept. Because if x is 0, this part doesn't matter, so all you're left with is y is equal to 4. So that's also kind of fun. Levi, I want another equation.
Okay, erase that stuff.
You got it.
If you don't, you know what'll happen?
I'll get in trouble.
It'll still be there.
Oh. I didn't even think about that. That's even worse. All right.
Okay, picture this, Bird. You picture this. I'm kidding.
Yep, you gotta stop that immediately. You can't get even close to
Let's go.
Dude, you made a huge fool of yourself. What are we gonna do?
You're going to give me an equation to interpret.
Okay, I'm going to give you a scenario.
Oh, scenario. I love those.
So,
Big fan of scenarios, this guy.
you got a cannon. You got a cannonball.
Oh, not like a Canon digital camera?
Correct.
Okay.
Out of business. They actually went out of business.
Did they really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they were still in business.
Yeah.
You were just lying.
Yes.
Okay, continue. I got a cannon. Like
Trying to come up with a pun for Nikon.
Wait a second. Like
yes.
a pirate cannon?
No, like the cannon of a story.
Are you sure it's not a pirate cannon?
It could be a pirate cannon.
I'm pretty sure that's where you're going with this.
Now I think it has to be. What do you think?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I think you're talking about a pirate cannon. Reach your arm out.
Very good.
Yar! I have a pirate cannon and some chickens.
That's not a cannon.
I mean, I in the story I do, but I'm just a pirate. Which is why I have a pirate cannon in the first place.
Okay, so you are on this ledge.
Whenever a pirate is born, his cannon is forged.
This is not a cannon.
I know, it's a hook.
Yes.
Just saying, somewhere in the world, his cannon is also... Keep going.
Okay, you can have a cannon. What do cannons look like?
You know what they look like. They're metal tubes. They're fun. Fun and flirty. Look at that cannon.
Okay, you shoot a cannon off a ledge.
Going really high.
Okay?
Yep.
It's gonna go pretty... Well, it's a very weak cannon. It's one of those pop gun cannons.
Mmm.
Yeah. So...
Pop gun? Pop gun! Pop gun! Right?
Right, that's exactly what that is, yes.
Yes.
So, the height of the ball at a certain time after the ball has been shot
Sure.
is...
Negative 16t squared.
Negative 4t.
No, this is physics. Negative 16t squared.
It doesn't have to be.
Well, but if they're gonna, they always give you these that are accurate.
Fine. I can't erase, though.
Whatever.
Dude, you're ruining my problem.
No. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Yar.
This is your thing. I would like to know, one, how
Hi.
high...
Oh, this is going to be so fun.
Can you erase the E and the I? Maybe just the whole word. I'll start over. How high is the cannonball?
Yar. Oh no.
When
It sounds different.
Is first fired.
Oh, okay.
Question number 2. How long does it take for the cannonball to hit the ground?
Oh! These are good questions, Levi. Any pirate worth his gold would be able to answer these. Pirates do quadratics most of the time that they're pirates. This is going to be fun. Can I put the chickens away?
For you, yes.
All right. Sure.
Yeah.
But, Levi, what if we need the chickens for the war effort? What if our boys get hungry overseas?
The pirates do not take a side in the war.
Historically, you're right. All right.
Very good.
Arr. We're pirates who read and use glasses.
Seconds after.
Can height be in feet? Oh, geez, no.
No?
Height in H?
Does that help?
What does that even mean? I'm looking forward to this problem. I will say that. It's my inner
This
pirate.
is one of the worksheets that I made up.
Really?
Yeah.
Levi?
Yeah, interpreting equations worksheet.
Oh. Levi.
Dang it!
What's
Writing the
going
same
on with
thing
you
again.
today?
Dude, I just don't know. Do you know?
I knows. Feet off? Oh, okay, good. Feet off ground.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I think we're good.
What do I do?
You, batten down the hatches, mate. Walk the plank.
It's a good character.
Pirates are very easy.
I'm kidding. I don't like it at all.
What? What about the hook?
Nah.
There you go. Yar. Try it.
Yar.
Here you can see it's better now.
Oh.
Shiver me timbers.
Shiver me. Who?
Timbers.
Timbers.
Right? Your bones are like your timbers. All right, get out of here.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Dude, maybe I can tutor better with 2 hooks.
They're going to call you Two Hooks Jennings.
Dude, you got a warm hook over
Can
here.
I do this now?
Yeah.
How high is the cannonball when it was first fired? All right. Oh, wow.
That's much better.
It really is a lot better. Yar!
This
still
is the
pirates.
original location of hooks.
All right, I'll try to keep this on. When it's first fired. So this is a function that's in terms of t. That is the input. T is time. We want to find the height when it was first fired, which means our t value is what we know. When it's first fired, our t value is 0 because the time has just started, and right when time just starts, it is 0, and then it increases from there. So we're going to want to put 0 in for t, and then figure out what happens here. So we're finding h of 0, and that's going to be equal to negative 16 times 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 12. Levi, coming at you. Woo! Very good. All right, so all of these zeros do nothing. They're gone. Don't worry about them. Negative 16 times 0 squared is still 0. 7 times 0 is 0. The 12 is the important number here. All right? At time equals 0, our height is 12, which means that must be our starting height. So right here, Jesus, marker. That right there is 12. That's our starting height. Fantastic. All right, way to go. Thank you. How long does it take for the cannonball to hit the ground? So we're trying to find a time here. We don't know how long it took, but we do know that it's on the ground. So if it's on the ground, Levi, is it correct to say that this thing will be arching over and hitting the ground here?
Yes, there's a strong wind.
Good. Good. All right.
Eastward.
All right. it's going to hit right there. Sounds good. So we know that it's on the ground, which means we know the height of this thing. When you're on the ground, your height is 0. So we're trying to find the t that makes our height 0. So we're going to put 0 in for our height and then solve for t. So we're going to have, let me get a different marker here. I'm going to try blue. 0 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 7t plus 12. This is just an old-fashioned quadratic. All right, you set it equal to 0, you solve it for t. So, first step, can I remove anything from all of the terms? Is it factorable at all through all of the terms? And the answer to that is no. There's nothing that you can take out of 7, 12, and negative 16. Not going to happen, okay? The next thing is, can I factor this? I want to try to factor it. If I can't factor it, then I'll have to do quadratic formula, but let's first try to factor this. So, this is an equation with our leading coefficient as negative 16, which makes things a little complicated. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to the product of negative 16 and 12. Wow, okay. Can we do that? Well, that's going to be... No, we can't. Okay. It's going to... Yeah. So that means it's time for quadratic formula. All right, that was very fun.
Everybody loves it.
Here we go. Sing it with me now. Just kidding. Let me just write this thing. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah. I once was considering a career as a singer. The only song I knew was the Quadratic Formula. It's hard out there for a singer that only sings the Quadratic Formula. Get a lot of rejection. Okay, let's plug things in. So we have negative 7 plus or minus the square root of b squared, 49 minus 4 times negative 16 times 12, all over 2 times negative 16. This is what we must solve. Fantastic. Oh, this is so great. So we have negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 49. This is going to end up being plus. 4 times 12 is 48, so plus 48 times 16, whatever that is. All over, come on, marker. Oh, geez, this marker's just dunzo. Oh, geez, this is sad. This is sad. All over negative 32. There we go, that's much better. All right, let's figure this out. So, calculator time. Because I don't want to do this on paper or on glass. Here we go. We have 48 times 16 is equal to 768. That right there is 768. If you add 49 to that, you get 817. Negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 817 all over negatron 32. So let's first do adding, because there's going to be two answers here, then we'll talk about it from after that. If you add negative 7 plus that, you're going to get negative 7 plus the square root. Where is the square? There it is. Square root of 817. Oh, come on. 817. And then you're going to divide that by negatron 32. And that's going to give you that number. And hey, calculator, can you give me an approximation for that? Yes, it can. One of your t-values is negative 0.674. Now we're going to add negative 7 plus the square root of 817 and divide that by positive 32. And we'll see what that is approximately. T is equal to, 0.674. Very interesting. Okay, so it ends up being just flipped versions of each other. Does that make sense? It would have to be centered around negative b over 2a would be minus. Something's fishy here. If it's plus, you have 7 over 32 minus the square root of 817 over 32. So 7 minus, no, sorry guys, square root of 817 divided by 32. Yeah, I know that. Give me an approximation. Negative 0.67. Okay, now if we add, if we subtract instead, it's going to be negative 7 plus that. No, it's going to be 7 plus that. Here we go. Here it comes. Woo! That's better. Okay, it's not this. It is 1.11. So these are in terms of seconds. The question was, how long does it take for the cannonball to hit the ground? And it looks like there's two different time values when the cannonball is at the ground level. Negative 0.674 seconds and then 1.11 seconds. Why do we have a negative answer? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, this is a quadratic, and quadratics typically give you two answers. But we're only going to hit the ground once, so what does this negative value mean? Good question. This parabola mathematically does not start where the cannon is. There's never been a parabola that just starts and then, just continues down like this. Parabolas go downward on both sides forever. So this green line here actually extends downward through the cannon to the ground. So it keeps going this way because it is a symmetrical parabola, okay? So our negative time value is had the cannonball started there. This would be a little bit before our actual time start because this is when t equals 0. So if we're going backwards, time is negative. That's why we get a negative answer. That's not the answer we're looking for. We're looking for the positive answer because we want to know when it hit the ground in the future, which is 1.11 seconds. That is when it hits the ground in the future. Very exciting. Let me know if you have any questions because we have answers galore. I'm talking galore. All right? Levi, what do you think?
I got one more for you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Very good. Do I?
Yeah.
Have one more for you?
Yeah.
There we go. No, not necessarily. What is it?
So erase that. I will start doing stuff.
Very good. What time is it, by the way?
It is 9:50
No, it is not.
p.m.
No, it is not.
Oh.
If it wasn't that, what is it?
8:24.
Oh, fantastic. That's
it's real fantastic.
That's such a good time.
I think it's pretty fantastic.
One of my all-time favorite times.
Because it's not.
Oh, sorry, microphone. Oh, man.
Interpreting equations outgoing.
Interpreting equations. Equations.
I will interpret your equation.
Don't interpret my equation. My equation is uninterpretable.
Alright, you ready?
No, I gotta let this dry. Gotta let it dry. We don't condone violence. We don't condone violence. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yes, we don't condone violence. Okay, it's dry now. But I have to clean it still.
I got something for you.
Well, okay, hold on.
How about now?
Do you want to?
Maybe. You?
Kind of. I'm interested. What do you got?
Oh, now you want one.
Well, I want to think about it for a second.
Where'd it go?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So, I'm not sure. Okay, why don't you tell me? Does this one count? Or no?
Well, it's a good problem. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So y equals 4/9 x.
I think that the difference is like, well, never mind. I was going to say interpreting equations is always real world, but no, it's not. Like the first problem you gave me was just a simple numerical interpreting equation problem.
Yeah. Which you liked.
Which I did like that a lot.
Yeah.
This is about what I like.
Right.
Y equals what?
Things I like. Y equals 4/9 x.
Okay.
X and y are distinct, non-zero, real numbers, whatever.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, which of the following is true? X is greater than y, x is less than y. Dude, you need another marker.
Huh? No, dude. No, that one's dead.
Oh.
All right, what else?
X is greater than the absolute value of y. And the absolute value of y is greater than the absolute value of x.
Oh. The question is which is true, huh?
Yes.
All right. I see the games you're playing. Yeah?
It's actually the absolute value of x is greater than the absolute value of y.
Geez,
I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay.
It will matter.
It will matter.
It will.
there a right answer here?
Hope so. Absolute value of x is greater than the absolute value of y.
Yes.
All right, which is true? All right, so first thing, in order to get y, you take x and you multiply it by 4/9, which means you make it smaller. So x is going to be the larger number, and y will always be smaller than that. So x will be the larger number, which in this case would give us 1. Now wait a second, though. Let's think about negatives and positives. If x is positive 1.
Do you have Reddit on your phone?
No, I do, yes.
Can you give me your face?
Come on, jeez. Okay. Now, when x is equal to -1, y is equal to -4/9. So in the first case, x is larger. Sorry, this is the first case right here. In the first case, x is larger. But in the second case, y is greater than x. You might say -1, isn't that bigger than -4/9? Absolute value-wise, yes. But if you're thinking about just furthest to the right on the number line, -4/9 is closer to 0 and thus more positive than -1 is. So therefore, this isn't true. They said that they're just they're just distinct real numbers, right? Non-zero numbers. They didn't say that they're positive or negative, right?
Right.
Okay. So therefore, this isn't always true. It's only true some of the time. For the same reason, 2 is not always true. It's only true some of the time. So x is greater than the absolute value of y. Let's think about what we've got so far. So in this situation, 1. Is 1 greater than the absolute value of 4/9? Yes, it is. Good. What about this one? -1 is greater than the absolute value of -4/9. So let's take the absolute value. We get -1 is greater than 4/9. Not true. -1 is less than that. So that one is also not true. Which brings us to this. Absolute value of x is greater than the absolute value of y. Forget positives and negatives. Just look at all these numbers without their negatives. 1 is greater than 4/9. Yes. 1 is greater than 4/9. Yes. So even when you're in the negative territory, the absolute value of x will be greater than the absolute value of y, meaning it's 4. Levi, I have to go to the bathroom very badly.
What?
To go to the bathroom very badly.
Okay.
It's time
you were
for
better
you.
at it. Wait, so did you finish? You finished. I did. Okay. Let me get my computer. Figure out what that last question is on here. Okay. Ooh. We're gonna erase this and do one more problem. Okay. This one. Oh, this is going to be, what's it called? One of those growth and decay type problems. We have A of t equals 330,000. Okay. A of t equals 30,000 times 1.02 to the t power. To the t power. Yeah? That's our equation. Okay, what is the annual percent interest? So from this is number of years. This is the balance. So, question 1. Also, no, I'll say that later. If you have any questions, please let me know. It can be about this or about anything else. It doesn't really matter to me. If you want to ask about this particular problem, great. If you want to ask an English question, great. We'll talk about that. We can talk about the essays. We can talk about anything you want to do. Okay, annual percent interest
So annual percent interest. What is that? Number 2 is initial deposit. And then number 3 is account balance. So balance at 7 years. Okay. Oy. To do this, we'll start with number 1. This is a growth problem. Every time that t increases, we're just multiplying 30k by another 1.02. It asks what the percent interest, the annual percent interest. It's going to be 2% because the equation for growth, especially with this type of thing, which is compound interest in a bank account, is going to be 1 plus that rate, or the interest. That's what this is. Okay? And then we have the initial deposit. The initial deposit starts out at 30k.
Touch.
What? Did you use a towel to dry your hands?
Yes.
Did you?
They're still damp, but they're clean.
Oh.
Touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't condone violence.
We don't.
Wait, where are you going?
Eh?
Yeah, you got to answer these questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't do it myself.
You're right.
You got to get your markers, though.
Oh.
I'm not getting your markers. Where did all your markers go?
I don't know.
Okay, that makes sense.
I thought I gave them to you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So the question first is the annual percentage interest, and you already did that for me, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Initial deposit. Great. That's 30,000. How can I be sure? Well, 2 ways. Number 1, if you know the interest equation, you know that that number is your starting amount. But if you don't know the interest equation, think about the other thing. If t is the number of years, initial deposit means starting deposit. Right when we're starting, our t value is 0. So we have 30,000 times 1.02 to the 0th, okay? Anything to the 0th is 1, so 1.02 to the 0th just turns into 1. We have 30,000 times 1, which is just 30,000. Here we go. That's a nice marker right there. Oh, yeah. Balance at 7 years. Well, the thing we don't know is our balance. The thing we do know is the number of years, which is 7. So we're taking A of 7 here. A of 7 will be 30,000 times 1.02 to the 7th. That is what we're going to be taking here. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. 30,000, getting used to this calculator still, times 1.02 to the 7th is equal to that. 34,460.60. That marker is not great, but I'm going to keep it around. Yeah, so our money, we got around $4,500 after 7 years from just measly 2% interest. Exponential growth, man. It's the way of the future, right? Exponential decay, way of the past. Not doing that anymore. We're growing. We're getting huge. Reminds me of Brendan's traps.
Yes.
Brendan used to be part of Nerdish, and his traps were massive.
Brandon.
His traps were huge. Anyway, Levi, I think I've done what I came here to do.
You did at 7 years?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Lots of colors.
Yeah. I want to use lots of colors for the war effort. Are we still in a war? We are. Kind of. Great. Great, 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 great. Any questions? Any questions, all you viewers out there? Everybody's viewing this. Ha-ha! Ha-ha! There we go. Look at that. Okay. Where'd my rags go? Oh, jeez.
It's okay, Bird.
Furniture? Levi?
2.
Great. This is great. Okay. Okay, here we go. Big time. Here, this is going well.
Yes. Absolutely. So don't be afraid to really interpret those equations, you know? Get in there and think about, what does that mean? Interpret it correctly. If you interpret it correctly, you will not mess it up because you interpreted it correctly. So that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah?
Unless I'm missing something. I don't think I am. But I might be. But I'm not sure. But I might be. All right. Okay, there we go. That's it right there. That's the good stuff. Please ask us your questions. I know you have them. I know you're thinking, oh, they probably don't want us to ask them our questions because they'll get mad at us. That's not true. We'll get mad at you if we learn that there were questions you wanted to ask that you decided to not ask. That's what'll make us mad. And you don't want to see us when we get mad because then we just start answering questions really quickly. We get really sweaty and red. It's not a good look.
Very bad look.
Very bad look.
Very bad.
So answer us your question, or ask us your questions. Answer our questions. We don't condone violence unless it's against glass.
Yes.
Piece of glass in front of me.
Let's talk about,
Recognition?
well, yeah.
Ow, sorry, I don't condone violence.
Sure. Oh, we did these. We need to take these down.
Yeah, I got a wet rag, it's fine.
Okay.
No, I don't. Enough.
All right. We should say. You good?
Oh, I'm real good. Oh, it was still wet.
That's what happens, dude. Okay. Math-wise, you want to do some matrix stuff?
What about recognition?
Yeah. Okay. I like waiting until you're gone to do that, because then, if there are no questions.
Right, that's about what? It's 8:39. It's a good time.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull up the slideshow. Okay, let's go to the beginning here. Okay. Here we go. This is recognition. This is what we're doing.
Oh, is that you, Levi?
Excuse me?
Is that you? Oh, it's Levi.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but with the test, and it'll actually help you in life.
Oh.
Although there are some people who can't recognize faces.
Prosopagnosia.
Yeah.
Facial blindness. It's what's for breakfast.
Okay. Ooh, yeah, I want to make this full screen for sure. Okay. In this question here, these questions, we are dealing with recognition, okay? That's what is probably the most, it's the best thing to make you speed up on the English section of the ACT or the writing section of the SAT. Most people can get through the writing section on the SAT, but the ACT is generally where the challenge comes in with finishing things. So it's important, your gut feeling, to keep that, but it's also helpful to know what you're getting yourself into on any given question, because then you can point your gut feeling at the right thing. So, number one, we're just going to go through and identify the question type so that we know what we got to do when we actually go through that question. If you have any questions about how to deal with a certain question type, then please ask. So, number one, we have, it looks like commas, right? All the words are identical, but we have commas in different places. So we're going to say that this is a commas question. I think that's pretty straightforward. Now, we're not going to do it unless somebody wants to. We'll just work our way through. Number two, we have, for example, additionally and however. All of these are transition questions. They take you from one idea to the next idea. So we'll call these transition. Okay, number three, the manner in which formation, which had formed, and that they form. Okay, I would say this could be a word choice thing because they all seem to be saying more or less the same thing. We have the manner in which formation. I think sentence structure is a pretty safe bet here because we don't have... In C and D, we have which had formed, and then we have that they form. So we have a pronoun in D, in they, but we don't have it in C. What is A? What's given here? That forming. Oh yeah, so this is probably some sort of sentence structure thing. Then number 4. This is much longer, so let's take our time. We have the discovery of the cause of this apparent variation has been made by scientist blah. Scientists, these two, have discovered this thing. The cause of this apparent variation has been discovered by these people. And, okay, so all the same, and Kenneth, this is, now I'm just looking at F. Kenneth Liebrecht and Hannah Arnold, the cause of this apparent variation. Oh, has revealed to scientists these names, the cause of the variation. Okay, this one might be harder. This is a concision question. It's about saying the right thing in the right order, keeping on task. This is, in this case, what basically gives you the right answer is passive voice. We have passive voice in 3 of the 4 answer choices here. If you want to go over that, great, we can talk about it. Now, number 5, we have freezes causing. So we have commas in everything except for A. So it looks like commas might matter here. But it also looks like we've added in parts of speech, right? We have causing here, but then in C and D we have it and this. So we've added in these pronouns. If we're adding in pronouns, we basically now possibly have a subject. If we're just throwing in a new subject in some of the answer choices, sentence structure comes into play, so do independent clauses. That's pretty important. Okay, and then 6, we have has bumped, bumped, bump, and bumps. So this looks like tense and subject-verb agreement. Both of those things. Okay, this is super, super helpful. I'm not saying you can't get all of these questions right. They are all very get-writable. But it really helps to identify what's going on so that you say, okay, I'm dealing with commas. That means I need to figure out, are they listing commas? Are they comma fanboys commas? Are they dependent clause, comma independent clause commas? Are they commas offsetting a positives? Then transitions, you know, rather than just plug in each of these options and say what sounds the best, which is a reasonable way to figure out the right answer, it's quicker if you identify your 2 ideas very specifically and then see which transition word best connects those 2 ideas. It is a much more foolproof way to do things for all of them. You're pointing your gut feeling at the right thing. Okay, I'm not going to do another page of this because it seems to be fine. Everybody seems fine on this. If you have any questions, please let me know. But I'm going to erase this now.
You ever get Sarah?
Do I ever get who?
Sarah?
Yeah.
Really?
Do you?
Sometimes.
Yeah? It's pretty cool. Bird. I like that smile. Looks a little terrifying. No, I won't do it with you now because you're hiding off stage, off screen.
Off stage.
Off stage left.
The actor reveals himself. This is gonna be good.
Yeah?
Turkey and hummus.
Dude, I hate most of the things you eat. Just you just pick the grossest foods. I mean, those are good. I like turkey, I like hummus, but you're just kind of wiping turkey slices into a sack of hummus. It's so meh.
Sack.
Huh?
There's a container.
Nah.
Well, you shouldn't be disgusted by it because it's a sack, but that assumption is wrong because it's not a sack.
Oh, okay. What?
See?
Okay, Bird, we got to do something together. What do you want to do together?
Change the world, make it a better place.
Better place.
Let's talk about the test.
Okay. What are we gonna say?
Easy.
Yeah?
Yep, I got it. Ugh. Woo. Ugh. All right, you guys, we get it. Okay. You're wondering what alta ipsum is. Great question. Alta ipsum, loosely translated from Latin, means summit yourself. Summit yourself means, you know, get to the top of yourself, do the best you can.
Yeah, and in Latin it means alta ipsum.
Alta ipsum. Exactly.
Yeah. It is an application that you can use on your laptop or your phone, and you can put in, you can track your grades in it, you can put your schedule in it. You can also put in, okay, not only do I have science class every day of my life, but I have a lab report due, and then it'll set up a work schedule for you, and then you can customize that schedule as you will. And then, as I said, it tracks your grades. Does it do anything else?
Well, I'd say in general that it lets you outsource your stress to an app, which is pretty much designed to, you know, handle stress. It's not fun to try to remember all the things you have to do in your head and all the homework you have to do in your head. So you tell the app everything, and then the app will just alert you and say, hey, tonight you got to write the first draft of your essay and study for 5 minutes, sorry, on Spanish vocab and things like that.
Wow.
I didn't know, dude, sorry. I stepped on Levi's foot.
Don't
We don't condone
condone
violence.
violence.
We don't do it. We don't condone violence. So, we don't condone violence. Okay. So, you can color code things. You can put nerdish in there, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 8 to 9:30 p.m. EST. You know, make it a little fun color, like blue or purple.
Purple.
There you go. Yeah.
Purple.
Their shirts look kind of purple. Oh, it's also free for a month.
Yes.
It's free for a month. Try it out. See if you like it. You don't like it, you don't have to get it. If you like it, you should get it.
What?
What? That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
We're here for you, not for us.
Right.
Yep.
We've
Nerdish.
already taken the SAT.
Nerdish is for the people, and the people are for Nerdish. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems that way.
That's how we consume, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not turkey dipped into hummus
I don't like that.
with my grubby fingers.
Your
They're
grubby
like,
digits.
Like little grubs.
Little sausage digits.
Sausages.
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 Or dodgets.
Dodges.
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 Sausages. Dosages.
Yeah,
Dosages.
we're figuring out the tough questions today, as you can see on Nerdish.
Yes, very tough
Very
question.
official. Very official.
You stay here.
I will stay here.
I'll stay here. I need to see if I can rustle up some questions
All right.
from some viewers.
All right. Can I prove the quadratic formula?
Sorry?
Can I prove the quadratic formula?
No.
Why?
Because
It's fun. Some people don't know where it comes from. They just think it's like there. Okay. Can I do it, Levi? I'm going to do it.
Fine.
ax squared
Stay.
plus bx plus c is equal to 0. All right, standard quadratic equation. You know the quadratic formula is what it is, minus b plus or minus all that stuff. But where does that come from? Great question. Here's what we do. First thing we do is we divide by a. All right, I'm going to put the things we did over here. We divided by a. That was our first step. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract c over a. So we're going to get x squared plus b over ax is equal to negative c over a. Great. Everybody's doing so well now. Next thing we're going to have to do is the hard part, completing the square. Complete the square. All right? We have x squared plus 14x plus blank. We want to complete the square. We take this number, 14. divide it by 2, get 7, and then you square that, becomes 49. We're going to do the same thing. The number we have here is b over a, okay? So b over a, we divide it by 2, which is going to give us b over 2a, all right? Square that. We get b squared over 4a squared. We want to complete the square, so we have to add that to both sides. So that's our next step. Plus b squared over 4a squared. So now what we have is x squared plus bax plus b squared over 4a squared is equal to b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. Okay? This side, now that I have a square term, I can factor it into its original factored form, which would be x plus b over 2a squared. This side, I want to make the bottoms the same, so I want to turn this into 4a squared. So I have to multiply it by 4 and then times another a. And so I have to multiply the top here by 4 times another a. Here we go. So now we have b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Next thing to solve for this x, square root both sides. This undoes the squaring, so we have x plus b over 2a is equal to, square root of the top, we can't really simplify that, so that's going to stay inside the square root, but the bottom is easy. Take the square root of 4a squared, you get 2a. 2a. Last thing, subtract. You also just took the square root, so when you take the square root, don't forget to take the plus or minus square root. All right, now we subtract b over 2a, and we have x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that's where the quadratic formula comes from.
It's kind of fun and
Yeah,
flirty.
it's fun and flirty. It's free. It's for everyone. Completing the square is the hardest part here. If you're not totally solid with that, then that step is not going to make a lot of sense. Definitely takes some algebra to get from that equation to this formula. But we're just solving this for x in terms of a, b, and c. That's all this is. Just moving things around through the power of algebra. That's the song. What time is it, Levi?
8:55
8:55?
p.m.
I should probably go soon. Yeah, I probably should go soon. Aha! Aha! Very satisfying. That bottle. Okay. A lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff. Very good. What are you thinking, Levi?
I think it's pretty good, dude.
Just in general, what are you thinking?
Thinking maybe we call the stream early tonight, because it's not too many people.
No, my last comment was a little while ago. Do you want to carry it out at least until 9?
2 minutes in. Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, I gotta go.
Yeah, you have a child.
I have 2 children.
Yeah, for those of you watching who are just staying silent because Brady's here, he's about to leave, so if you do want to ask questions once he's gone...
We don't condone violence.
Because of his intimidating presence.
We don't condone violence.
Because of his violent, intimidating presence.
We don't condone...
Then, please do.
I'm gonna condition you so that as soon as I say that, you wince in pain. We don't condone violence.
No.
Oh! Oh!
Eric. Okay, do you know what they are?
Well,
are you taking the SAT or the ACT?
Easy. He wants to get from -2 to -0. So you just need to add 2.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah, so that's a terrible response. do you know the mistakes, or are they simple ones? You could also, as long as you put parentheses around it, raise it to the 0 power and then subtract 1. That will also get you to 0. What do we got? Sorry, the chat thing doesn't work super well. SAT. Great. Yeah, so what are the questions that you're getting wrong? Are they the long-winded ones? Or are they the sentence combination ones? Dumb mistakes. Okay. So are they dumb mistakes on like a semicolon where you should have been paying attention? Like it's just a simple mistake and that's all there is to it? Or is it on the, once you look back and, it's on the sentence combination ones and you go, oh, I can see how that's right and I just wasn't thinking of it that way. Because that's slightly different. Yeah, sure. Crap. Okay, so I asked a or B question. You said yes, so I actually don't know what you're referencing. Semicolon. Okay, so all right, so if it's just a straight up simple mistake, slow down. My guess is that time is not an issue for you if you're getting only 2 wrong. So I'm choosing which okay, great. Let's talk about transition ones then. Oh God, this stupid chat. Like on March. Yeah, gotcha. There was that is/furthermore question. Yeah, if you can, so in our Discord, you can also put a link in the chat and I can open it up on my computer. Show me that question specifically, and then I can go over that one if you don't actually know the answer. If you know the answer and exactly why, great. So we can do that one specifically, or I can pull up the overlay I have here. It's an ACT, but it's the same exact type of question. So it's up to you if you want to look. It's dead. So, where did it go? Like number 2 here. This is an ACT. Sorry for punching the mic. I don't know if that was loud. My bad. This one, for example, additionally, however, that type of thing, I can talk you through the approach that will make it so that if you're going to get it wrong, it's because you just have no idea what's going on versus making a simple mistake. So we can do that, or we can do, the, if you get a specific, oh, the QS isn't working. Give me a sec. I might be able to pull it up. Okay. It's going to take like more than a sec. College Board. Do you remember the number it was in the writing section? Oh wait, no, I don't need that. This was March, right? Okay. I have the test in front of me, or, didn't say that. A, slapped together version of the test. Furthermore was one of the answers you said? Otherwise. Okay. Grammar. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay. This isn't so much, do you know, okay, the options are that is, however, furthermore, and instead. So I'll just write those down real quick. That is, how would I do that? That is, however, furthermore, however, instead. However, furthermore, God, I hate this. Hello, Smolf, how are you? Good to see you again. Furthermore, did I spell further wrong? Yes. Furthermore and instead. Okay. I'm going to take a shot at this. Is this the problem? The words that is. Do you know what that means as a transition phrase? because that might be the problem. If it's not, then we can talk about the other stuff. However and instead are the same thing, pretty much. So, not the same thing, but they're both contradiction. So with those two, I've never seen the words that is ever used. Yeah, so here's the problem, and you're going to have to live with it. God, I hate this. Yeah, the SAT is not testing you on your preparation for the SAT. They're trying not to make that possible because they don't want. Of course, there's always inequities in how much somebody can prepare. They put out some practice material so that people can do it. If you've done a bunch of them, you're way more prepared than other people who haven't, generally. But it's not as though they're going to say, here's your prep for the test. You can do these things and you'll be totally prepared if you do that. They're testing you on your understanding of the English language. I promise you, if you had read 200 more books during the last 4 years than you have, you probably would have seen that is somewhere. It means, in other words. That's what it means. So that's why it's the answer to the question. If you want me to explain that more and talk about the specific sentence, but this is the right answer. I'm sorry that I can't give you a better answer of, this is the mistake you made and this is how to fix it. I guess the mistake you made is not knowing those words. That is okay. What I would recommend for this type of thing, you can't reasonably expect to know all of the options of these words. In the reading section with the vocab and context, and this section with the word choice, and then I guess sometimes in these if you don't know a transition word, which is uncommon. This is very, very uncommon because if you have a good vocabulary, transition words are very heavily used, but that is not. I think outliers for this question type, these transition questions, is something like that is, or when they just don't have a transition word at all, there's just nothing there. Those can trip people up. The only thing I could say to help, aside from just read more, which obviously isn't that helpful, is to say you're trying to prove 3 wrong. Don't bend over backwards to try to convince yourself of a wrong answer. You're going through you're going through this section, specifically this section on both the SAT and ACT. You're trying to prove each answer wrong. So if something seems okay, that's not good enough, especially if there's an answer choice that you don't know. Be willing to put the answer choice you don't know if you can prove the other 3 wrong. Okay. Anybody else? Looks like we got a couple more viewers, so that's nice. Anybody else have any questions? You can ask me questions about the English and writing section. You can ask me about the essay, math, reading, science. I have an overlay. Tonight's overlay is just a couple of English, I think the first half of the English section on one of the practice ACTs. But we can do whatever you guys want. I can talk about, the uses of semicolons or the uses of commas. Does everybody know the 4 uses of commas, the 4 ways to separate independent clauses, what an independent clause is, dashes, commas, parentheses, colons, semicolons, periods, I guess. All those things. Do y'all know those things? If you don't know those things, we can talk about them. Also, I promise I'm not as short as I look on this screen. We just made the board higher, so I'm like average. Also, if you're working on questions on your own practice material tests, oh good, ask tons of questions. We have a Discord that's linked. You're on Twitch, yeah. Link down below. We have a Discord. You can post questions in one of the channels there, and then screenshots of questions, and then how I get into Stanford. Good essays, I think. I mean, good grades and scores, and then everybody actually has those things applying to the top schools, so you have to write some good essays and do stuff. Yeah, I'm probably going to give you comparable answers to other people that you've asked, or other people whom you've asked, which is do what you care about doing and do it fully. And if you don't know what you care about doing, then try a bunch of things and then demonstrate that you care about trying to figure out what you care about doing. And then you can write some pretty awesome essays, hopefully. I think the essays are where you can demonstrate why you, or who you are. And once, just so you know, what if my extracurriculars are kind of bad? Essays, dude. And you got a summer. You have the spring and the summer. This is, okay. So first of all, I talk about essay stuff starting August 1st. So this stream hasn't been around, by then it'll be about a year. So we clearly don't have too many viewers. It's fine. But please tell other people about it, because it's obviously free, and I don't want to, like, if I can do this for more people than less, then great, or fewer, whatever. So if you want to bulk up your extracurriculars, one, forget about that. It's not going to do a good job. Remember, these people, the admissions officers, their job is to figure out, who they want to fill out their student body, people who are intelligent and kind and interesting and productive and interested, okay? The way to be interesting to an admissions officer is to be interested in something. If you're not, that's okay, but then you got to go looking for it. You have to go looking for it. Don't think, I'm going to do these couple of things because it seems like these couple of things get people into college. Don't do that. You're not going to be that good at it. You're not going to be that good at anything that you don't want to do, that you're doing to make other people feel a certain way about you. It's not going to work. Eric, TLT. Hello, we got 2 Erics here. What's up? That's exciting. Unless you're bots, which I doubt. But bots need to go to college too. It's actually a big problem in the bot community. Yeah, so new Eric, if you want to ask some questions, SAT, ACT related, Brady's personal life, who maybe you saw earlier, but Brady's no longer here. He's tutoring somebody privately. We do private tutoring, but whatever. Eric, and new Eric, I guess, if you're applying to college, do some soul searching, and I don't mean that in a belittling way at all. I mean figure out what you care about, and if you know, awesome. You got to dive headfirst into that. So if you like robots, then do robot stuff. I'm taking the SAT May 4th. Any tips? Yeah, but you got to give me more specifics than that. Like, I'm happy to answer questions or explain concepts, but like general tips, no. Yes, but there are a lot, so I don't. Give me some specifics and I'll go off there. Eric 985. Do you know what you care about? Do you have any thoughts? And then we can talk about those things. Maybe I can suggest some stuff. Not that you probably haven't thought of a lot of the things that I would say, but maybe having somebody else yell at you about it. Oh, great. Thank you for the follow. Awesome. What time is it? 9:10. Cool. All right. I'm going to erase this. Dang it. I hate this stupid chat thing. Maybe engineering. Okay, you don't know. That's fine. Okay, so you don't know what you care about doing. That's fine. What classes do you enjoy in school? I'm sure you've liked, thank you for the follow, other Eric, TLT. Eric, TLT. What are the things you care about doing? What, you've liked things that you've done in the last 16, 17 years of your life, I assume. So whatever those things are, say them here, and also think about them more. So maybe engineering, math, economics. Okay, cool. Why? Why do you like those things? Why do you like math? Why do you like economics? Why are you maybe interested in engineering? Pretty easy, I guess. It's easy for you to do math, and that's why you like it. I mean, it's a good reason to like a class for sure, because you can do it. More interesting than English or history. Okay, cool. So, let's see. If you like math, I like math too. I don't want to necessarily put words in your mouth about why you like it. Are you guys sure you're not the same person? Seems like you're kind of there. Okay, so let's see. You like math. You might like engineering. You're interested in economics. If I would say maybe depending on what your summer plans are, see if you can get yourself an unpaid internship type of situation. Not the same person. Great. I will believe it when I see it. And I don't want to see it. And now I'm picturing you two as conjoined twins, and you're both arguing over the name Eric with 900 or 985 heads. Okay. So if you like math, you're interested in econ, you're maybe interested in engineering. I think as high schoolers, getting yourself paid internships might be difficult. Getting yourself unpaid internships might not be as difficult. If you can find your way into something where you can be in an office and you will be given responsibilities, hopefully not anything crazy, but things that, and now unpaid internships sometimes have their issues. You gotta go. Okay, get out of here then. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 9:30 p.m. It looks like it's just you and me and a handful of other people. TLT. Toodaloo. Anyway, have a good night, Eric. 985. See you tomorrow or another day or whatever. Glad you guys can't see my legs, 'cause I'm doing stupid stuff with them. If anybody has, so I'll keep going on this. But does anybody have any questions regarding the SAT and ACT specifically? I'm happy to talk about non-test stuff. I just normally do that come August. And Smolf, very good, Smolf. You too. I'm glad that you said "and me," not "and I," because we talked about subjects and objects, and we're saying, and that's not the subject of a sentence, it's an object of the sentence. So, Eric TLT, are you taking the SAT or ACT anytime soon? Answer that question, but also listen to mine, or suggestion maybe. Look around for companies in your area, maybe, you know, if you have parents or people who you know who, oh, we can do so many math questions on the SAT? Yeah, we can definitely do that. What kind of math trips you up? What is the SAT more focused on in grading and the scoring? More focused on than the ACT, or just what are the major things? May 4th SAT, so you got a month. Cool. Solving equations. So this is actually just, can I learn about jobs? Yes, you can learn about jobs, for sure. I'm not exactly sure how to teach you about jobs in general. Like, I have a job, but I'm self-employed doing this. So don't do this job, because then I'll have competition, and I don't want it. But I have it, so it's fine. Do whatever you want. Okay, so May 4th SAT. Question for you. If you have this, I assume you know how to solve this, but if you have this, do you know how to solve this? Do you know how to solve for A in this case? I mean, I'm sure you can maybe reason it out in your head, but do you know how to algebraically do this? To be honest, I can't really think of anything that trips me up right now. I guess square roots and stuff like that and fractions. Ooh, okay, yeah. Let's start here. Does this make sense to you, Eric TLT? Do you know how to isolate A so that algebraically you do a bunch of stuff, order of operations, related things, and then you have A equals whatever it equals? Are you comfortable with that type of thing? This is much easier, in my opinion, than this. X equals 32. Nope. So, oh, that's small. Yes, x does not equal 32. I mean, it might in your equation, but not in mine. 2 multiplied by the other side, and then x equals 32. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry. Yes, this is, yes, that's x equals 32. Of course, yes, my bad. A equals 1/3. Yeah, did you do it in your head or did you do it algebraically? We'll talk about this stuff. Also, yeah, look for those internships, by the way, Eric, while I wait for you to respond. It helps, I think. And it'll also, you know, if you're interested in math, then find something that's math related. I did on my head. Okay. In your head. Technically, the preposition there would be in your head. On your head is more literal. Just so you know. Eric, do you know how to work through this? With the second one. Seems like you're fine on the first one, so I'll erase that, I guess. What should you look up? Oh, no, don't look it up. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll teach it. I'm just wondering if this is a problem area for you, then we'll do this. I'm happy to teach stuff. I don't care about like just answering tiny little questions. I'm happy to do larger things. So here, when you're solving equations, this is kind of dying. So we're solving for A here. One of the obstacles is when you have your A in the denominator. Yeah, and that's the thing. In your head, you can maybe do something that's pretty simple like this, right? There aren't too many weird numbers, but as soon as it gets weird, then it starts getting uncomfortable in your head. You don't want your variable in the denominator. If you're solving for A, you have to get A out of the denominator. That is the first obstacle when you're solving equations that's not normal. I mean, if you have 2x plus 3 equals 8, then you probably, please stop me if you don't know how to do this, you subtract 3 and then you get this, and then you divide by 2 and you get x equals 5/2. If you don't know how to do that, we can talk about that because that's more important. But here, we get A out of the denominator, so we multiply both sides by A. Those cancel. Then we get 4 equals 12A, and then we divide each side by 12, and we get 1/3 equals A. Yes, exactly. So this is one of the things, is when you have A in the denominator, you take it out. You don't want your variable in the denominator. What about, I guess it's everybody, if you have, what should I look up for internships? Oh, right. That makes more sense. My bad. I would talk to people first. I know you probably don't love talking to adults. I don't like talking to adults even now. I'm not writing backwards. So the camera is there where you are, and then we have this glass, and then it's me on the other side of the glass, and then we just flip the image. So it might look like I'm writing lefty, but I'm righty. So this is my right hand. So this is all forwards for me and forwards for you, but then my body is flipped. So, yeah. What about if we have 3 over x minus 2 equals 8? Do you know how to solve for x in this equation? Yeah, so looking up internships, my guess is that no company's really going to be saying, oh, I want to hire some high school juniors for my company that does insurance. Now, I don't know if you're interested in working at an insurance company, but if you ask to shadow somebody, people are sometimes interested in doing that. I would say you need to figure out what type of company you want to maybe explore, but people are generally pretty okay with having people shadow, and then maybe you can turn that into something. I'm not saying I did that in high school. I didn't do that in high school. I think it would have been a good idea. Okay, Eric, do you know how to do this? If not, that's fine. I'm gonna fix this stupid chat thing. In my head, yes, but not written out. Okay, so written out, it's the same thing. We just had a on the bottom before. So again, we don't want x on the bottom. But to get it out, we can't just multiply by x as we did here because it won't cancel. We want to multiply by the entirety of the denominator. So x minus 2 on this side, x minus 2 on this side. So those two cancel. And then we get 3 equals 8x minus 16. Don't forget to distribute. And then from here we just solve. So add 16, we get 19 equals 8x. So x equals 19 over 8. I wonder, do you know how to do that in your head? That's kind of a little complicated, unless you made a mistake in your head, possibly. But that would have been hard to get to in your head, would be my guess. So this is basically it. It's the same idea, honestly, as cross multiplying. So if we have 3 over x minus 2 equals 8, this is technically 8 over 1, right? And you, at some point, probably learned cross multiplying. So we have 1 times 3, which is 3, and then we have 8 times x minus 2, which is what we ended up here having. So it's the same concept, but people recognize that they're supposed to do cross multiplying when they see a fraction equaling a fraction. But you don't always see that on the SAT and ACT because they don't like to give you things that they know will trigger you to do, oh, okay, cross multiplying, I'm fine, I don't have to deal with fractions anymore. So here, when you start out with just an 8 on this side, you might not think, oh, I have to cross multiply, but you do need to think, the recognition has to be, I have my variable in the denominator and I don't want it there, so I got to take it out. That's one of the things. Eric, do you want to talk about radicals? We can do them in equations, we can do them with simplifying, we can do them with imaginaries, we can do all of those things, not all of them tonight, but tomorrow, if you'd like, if you're back. Up to you. For the internship thing, where-ish do you live? Do you live in a big city? Because that's probably a little bit easier. Or in a suburb, you know, somewhere pretty well frequented by humans would be good. Ah, shoot, I don't know what you said yes to. Probably about doing more of the square root stuff, or radicals in general, I'd assume. How do exponents fit in with your understanding of radicals? Because that can sometimes clear things up. Do you know fractional exponents? Northwest Florida, so Tallahassee-ish, sort of. Yeah, I don't know much about Northwest Florida, but my guess is there are jobs there, or there are companies there. I would go through friends and family first. If you can, if you mention to your parents that you want to just explore something and shadow somebody, then maybe they can go to bat for you a little bit. People are normally pretty willing to have someone shadow them, especially if it's through someone whom they know. 2x plus 7y equals 19, 3x plus 14y equals 35, x equals Pensacola, Florida. Okay. Yeah, we can do systems of equations. Let me just do a real quick radical thing, and then we'll do that. So I'll just write that over here, small, and then we'll get to it. 2x plus 7y equals 19, and then we also have 3x plus 14y equals 45. 3x plus 14y equals 35. We want to find x. Do you not know how to do that, or are you just asking because you want to see what I do with it? Either is fine. Okay, so with the radical stuff, if we have let's start here. Just like if you have 2x minus 1 equals 4 and you add 1, you're undoing this operation. Yeah, they are fun. So you're undoing an operation. But here, it's not as clear because there's no other number other than x that you are getting rid of. So it's sometimes a little harder to recognize how you're supposed to isolate x. In this case, you're always doing the opposite operation. So here we added 1 instead of subtracting 1. Here, the opposite of taking the square root is squaring something. So we're going to, each side, we're going to square. So the square and the square root cancel out. 16 as the square root of x can be swapped to the other side. Yeah. Exactly. So square root and squared cancel out. Square root and squared cancel out. So x equals 16. The same thing goes for radicals, or sorry, squares. But let's say we have something like this. Do you know how to deal with that one? This guy here. So, Smolf, I'm not sure how you learn to do systems of equations, but for that, so what we call it is elimination and substitution. What method do you normally do for that type of thing, Smolf? Also, for those of you who are watching, oh, thank you for the following, Liav123. It's an interesting name. XVex, what's up? Why don't you say bye? I'm confused. Did you mean to say hey the first time? Good, good. You like elimination. Yeah, I don't like elimination. I think it's not that scalable a tool because in this case, yeah, it's nice. Add 4 to both sides, then square the parentheses. Not quite in that order. Good score. Okay, are you done, XVex? Or are you maybe taking it again? You're here, but maybe you're just saying hi. So yes, you want to add 4. So you add 4 to both sides. But just like here, think of it this way. When you're doing order of operations, it's PEMDAS, right? But when you are undoing those operations, you have to do reverse PEMDAS, okay? So parentheses first, so this thing, which means we're going to get rid of this +1 last because that's in parentheses, which would be first, and a 30 comp. Oh, okay. I didn't study for the science and got a 26. Okay. All right, 26 on science without studying is pretty solid, honestly. Okay, I feel like I'm doing several different things at once, but whatever. So here, we're going to add 4. I'll just stay in pink. Maybe. No. So 2x plus 1 squared equals 32. We are not going to do anything with this yet because we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication is the last thing to do. So when we're undoing it, it's the first thing we want to do. So we have to divide by 2 before we deal with this stuff here. So we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. We get x plus 1 squared equals 16. How can I get an 800 on math? I did for the love of it. Oh, so you did some science stuff. Okay, that's good. How can you get an 800 on math? Best case, get 1 wrong, but probably getting everything right is going to help you the most. How hard do you think it would be to get a 34 to 36 on science? Hard. You can't make mistakes, just like I said to leave. And also, I know that was flippant, but getting a perfect score on math means you got to know everything. Do you know everything, or are you making are you close and making simple mistakes, or are you at 700 and you'd love to get an 800? Oh, you did it after you got a 26. I did for the love. Okay, I understand. All right. So here, by the way, Eric, you take a square root of both sides because you're undoing that squared, and that cancels with that. You get x plus 1. I don't need the parentheses, sorry. This is going to be positive or negative 4 because you're taking the square root of something. If you add in your own square root, you have to do plus or minus, okay? And then from here, we have x plus 1 equals 4, and x plus 1 equals negative 4. And then you solve from there, and I'm sure you can do that. Okay, up here, we're going to, I promise, Smolf, I will do this before I finish, and I guess I am done. I can continue, though. X equals 3, x equals negative 5. Oh, great.
My school offers the SAT for next Tuesday, so I'm taking it with no prep. Oh, yeah, go for it. That's cool. Whose name is Nick? Your friend who recommended you to me or me to you or whatever it was. Okay, yeah, no, I can't actually help. So I just do matrices for systems of equations. Yes, okay. How would you go? Okay, so elimination matrices, great. I have a question for you though. If you have something like AB minus 3 equals this, and then we have 2A minus 4B equals negative 10. How are you going to do that? So give that a thought. I'm going to erase this. His name is Nick. Your friend's name is Nick, who recommended you to me. Great, that's cool. So where are you in the math process? If you want an 800, is it just simple mistakes that you're making, or do you know there are concepts that you don't understand? And you're taking the SAT, it seems. Solve for A and plug it in if it's like that. Yeah, okay, I agree. That's what I would do as well. Give me a sec. You all can do it on your own if you'd like first. So, hey, I'm not going to do that, actually. Oh, that problem in pink. I've confused myself, I think, with this chat going on. Yeah, for this you can solve for x, or you can solve for y and then plug it in for the other y. You could also do elimination. You use matrices. Yeah, okay, so I'm at 740 and I'm struggling with problem solving and data analysis, which is a pretty worthless term, right? Like, oh, you don't know how to problem solve? Okay, great, that doesn't help at all. And data analysis. So that's going to be the graphs and tables and things like that. Yes, you can use matrices for that. I'm actually not that familiar with matrices for systems of equations because I just haven't done them in years. So you can use matrices, but I think this is more important to be able to do this type of thing. Because if you can do this, you can do that without a problem. Yes, and same thing. Charge level 7%. Yeah, why are you awake? You gotta go to sleep. Okay, yeah, so let's solve for A. I want to solve for A in this one. So we'll add 3, so we'll get 12, and then we get A equals 12 over B. And then we have to plug 12 over B in for A here. So in this case, we will have 2 times 12 over B minus 4B equals negative 10. Then we have 24 over B minus 4B equals negative 10. Hey, Eric, if you're still watching, we now have a situation where we have our variable for which we're solving in the denominator. We don't like that. We have to multiply it by B. Oh, on the calculator, sure, yeah. They generally... Oh, prime, yeah, go for it. I don't know, yes, okay. So here we have B in the denominator. We want to get rid of it. Great, hey, Eric. Multiplied by B on both sides. The B's here cancel out. You have to distribute. You're not allowed to just multiply by B in its own little thing. So we get 24 minus 4B squared. How do I use Twitch Prime on mobile? I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know. I appreciate the will to Prime sub. I appreciate it, but I honestly couldn't tell you. 4B squared equals negative 10B. Okay, this is the next obstacle that you can run into. We've actually done the 3. There are 3 major obstacles, Eric. So, and everybody, for everybody. I don't know. I don't know. Keep trying. But it's also not the end of the world if it doesn't work. So the first obstacle we said was your variable in the denominator, which we've dealt with here. And then we also had the variable, the obstacle of having the radical or the squared, because that's another stumbling point for people. Just make sure you get rid of everything else before you get rid of that square or the square root. It's feasible you could do it on your browser, XFX. Okay, here, this is the last one. Okay, this is the last obstacle that you're going to face. You are also, as you try to get your variable out of the denominator, you try to get it out of radicals, you try to isolate it, you also want to combine all of your variable terms, right? You need to combine like terms. You want to have only one b, because if we just if we divide both sides by -10, we do get b equals something, but clearly that's not the right answer because b is in the answer. We want a numerical value or values for b. So if you cannot combine your b terms or any terms of the variable for which you're solving, you have to factor. Thank you, Eric. Hey, Eric, eyes on me, okay? We have to factor because we cannot isolate b. So we're going to subtract, we're going to add 10b to both sides, but I don't like this -4b. So we're factoring now. We have b squared, we have b, so I'm going to add this to that side, subtract that, and so we'll get 4b squared minus 10b minus 24 equals 0. I'm going to divide by 2 on both. Let me know if, I just made it so that now we have our a squared, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Nice classic format. Let's divide by 2 on both sides to oh, can we do it? No, we can't. Okay, so divide by 2 on both sides. We get 2b squared minus 5b minus 12 equals 0. And then we're going to have to do this. So we'll have -24 is what AC is, and then we have to add up. We have to add up to -5. So let's say 8 and 3. So -8 and 3. So we have 2b squared minus 8b plus 3b minus 12 equals 0. You can also use quadratic formula. You can also graph this. You can also guess and check because it's probably not that complicated because I made this up. So here we're just factoring by groupings. So we pull out a 2b. We have a b minus 4 plus pull out 3b minus 4 again equals 0. So we'll pull this up here. We have 2b plus 3b minus 4. That doesn't quite jive for me. Please let me know if I made a mistake in this problem, because I made up values in my head for a and b, and I thought they worked, but now I'm not. Oh, never mind. They work. Never mind. This equals 0. So we get b equals -3/2, or b equals 4. Yeah? So we just found our two b values. We can plug them back in for a. But notice, you can't use elimination here. I think matrices won't work. I just haven't used them in a while for this type of problem when you don't just have an a term and a b term and then a constant term. Seems right. Cool. Yeah, and you plug in and see what happens, Okay. Small, if you're still here, I'm happy to do that stuff. Also, Eric, you're asking questions. It's great. Keep asking questions. If you're back tomorrow, you can come in with questions prepared, and then we can talk about those for an hour and a half, basically. I don't really care. Brady, who maybe you didn't see before you got here, he and I just do this, and we're doing it for an hour and a half, 3 nights a week. So if nobody's here, then we just kind of say dumb stuff to each other and get pretty disheartened. But if people are here asking questions, then that's exactly why we're here. So just come in with your questions. What I recommend to make use of this is, you are here, great. So I'll do that in a sec. What I recommend to make use of this is do work on your own, come in with the things that you couldn't figure out on your own, and then we'll talk about them. So pink X. Right, so let's do this. I think orange is what I want. What do you guys want? You want elimination? You want... great, good. See you tomorrow. We will definitely do this more. Do you want to do elimination? I don't want to do the matrix stuff because most people don't know that, and to be completely honest, I don't remember it. You can teach me, but that's not what this is for. Elimination or substitution. I could actually just do it both ways. 3/7, possibly? Okay. Let's do substitution because I think it's more useful, just like we did here. So with substitution, I want to get rid of my y. Because if I get rid of my y, I just immediately am solving for x, and then I don't have to work as hard. I don't have to plug that back in. What is this? PlayStation. This is SAT and ACT prep. So if you're taking the SAT or ACT, or you have children who are taking the SAT or ACT, or parents who are taking the SAT or ACT, you can ask us questions. And by us, I mean me right now. Ask questions and we'll do stuff. It's 8 to 9:30 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That should answer your question. Unless you're asking about this board, in which case somebody else can maybe answer. So here I'm going to solve for y. So this guy I'm going to do y equals 19 minus 2x over 7. And I'm going to plug this in for that y right there. So I get 3x plus 19 minus 2x over 7 equals 35. This is going to be ugly. Oh my goodness. Let's multiply by 7. So we get 21x plus 19 minus 2x equals 35 times 7 is 210, 245. If anybody has any questions about how I got from here to here, please let me know. I'm going to combine like terms, which we can do easily here, so clearly we don't have to factor. This is 19x plus 19 equals 245, and then we subtract 19 from both sides. We get 19x equals 226, and 19 divided by 226 I don't think goes in evenly. Oh, you know what? Maybe it does. Let's divide both sides by 19, and we get x equals, well, we have 190, and then we have 36 left over. No, that doesn't work. So it's going to be whatever 226 divided by 19 is. 19 is prime, so we could leave it as that improper fraction. What happened to the 14 in the second equation? I probably missed it. Yeah, okay, definitely missed it. My bad. I should have checked that earlier. Good catch. All of this is worthless. Thank you. I owe you. All right, so this is 14 here. That stinks. Wait, oh, that's great. No, that's fine. That's fine. So I don't have to divide by 7 or multiply by 7 because this goes away and this should become 2 times that. Great. So 3x plus 38 minus 4x equals 35. Yeah? Yes, 3/7. Good call. So 7x equals negative 3. Did you say 3/7? Ah, negative 3/7. So x equals negative 3 over 7. Makes sense? What you have learned is don't be dumb. Yeah? Hey, Leave or Liav or I don't know how to pronounce your username. If you want to just give me a normal name, Nick's friend, then if you're still here, we can talk a little bit more. Where are you? Just looking through the chat real quick. If you're still here, we can talk about how to get those last 80-ish points. If not, we can talk about specific stuff. Ideally, 80 points off on the SAT means that you don't have all the knowledge you need, or you're making just way too many simple mistakes, and you gotta, I don't know, drink some coffee beforehand or something like that.
Okay. If you have any more questions, good. Don't ask them now. Ask them tomorrow or next week. We had a pretty dry stream for the first hour, and then everybody showed up, which is fine, but ideally come earlier so that you have more time, and then I'm not bored. So what is the hardest math question on the SAT? It's a matter of opinion. I would say I think the calculator. Okay, so hardest for me. I guess the word problems, but also I'm a tutor, so I know all the math. I know all of it. I guess sometimes the hardest ones can be permutations and combinations because they make them hard. I think for students, more often than not, it's the data question. So where you have to read a table or a graph, and then you have to do math on top of that. People make a lot of mistakes there. Not because they're necessarily super hard. Honestly, those questions aren't crazy hard, but... Oh, you did. Awesome. That's cool. Wait, so Eric, are you in high school? I didn't know the Knowledge Fellowship was like something that high schoolers ever went through. But what do I know? Maybe you're not in high school. Okay. Anyway, barring some last minute, you are in high school. Very good. I think I got to stop asking, are you this or are you this or are you this? Because then I get a yes and I have no idea what the answer is. Okay, I'm heading out. Have a good night, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 to 9:30 p.m. You watch Damien Explores. Got it. Cool. All right. Have a good night. See you tomorrow, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Thursday. Yeah, so last night is tomorrow. He's a bird watcher and streams it, and he sent the list chat. That's awesome. Cool. Why doesn't this work? I'm sure Damien sounds like a much more chill guy than me. Anyway. Bye. See you tomorrow.